Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS Magazine RPG Review Room. I am Paco Garcia, your host, and this is my review of Nibiru. Nibiru is a science fiction role-playing game of lost memories written by Federico Sons and distributed by Modiphius that was successfully kickstarted to the tune of £27,000 over at the end of 2018. Dragon Meet 2019 brought me the chance to get my hands on my copy, and I started delving into the game. The book is a lavishly illustrated full-color hardcover with 206 pages that contain the table of content, the index, the backer list, and the most beautiful character sheet, and 2 bookmarks. The layout is a 2-column standard format that leaves plenty of space for contents to be read very easily. It is really beautiful. In terms of looks, this book is absolutely amazing. From the cover to absolutely every single illustration in the inside, including all the ornaments, all the frames, all the everything, they're stunning. And even though there is a variety of artists, there is a style consistency that, as an art director, I really admire. The cartography is also fantastic, even though it's a little bit disconcerting, which goes perfectly with the theme of the game. Rather than being, explicit maps showing the locations and everything in detail, there is a map that resembles an X-ray that only hints at the areas of the base that are unknown to its inhabitants. Talking about the base, the premise of the game is not new, but it is actually very compelling. Nibiru is an enormous construct, thousands of kilometers wide and deep, that remains largely unexplored. Its origins and the way it works are complete mysteries. Throughout, there are several settlements located in larger areas where life has become a little bit easier. Those settlements are connected by large tunnels that also serve the purpose of carrying air to all parts of the complex. Of course, what lies beyond those settlements is unknown, and venturing into the wild places can be, and indeed is, lethal. The lack of oxygen, the water and light would be hard enough to deal with, but to that we have to add the changes in the atmospheric pressure, for Nibiru is a truly three-dimensional world where some places are under more than 1G, and unknown creatures that roam the vast unexplored expanses. Most of the book is dedicated to world description, both with information for the players and some extra for the GMs. A description of the settlements with their class, the number of inhabitants, the religion, the type of government, and the main industry is complemented and expanded with some local locations within each settlement and the personalities that have some services to offer. So that gives a very good view of the societal structure of each place. Characters are all vagabonds, people who have somehow emerged from the shadowy unknown areas with no memories of their past, and they have to start again and fend for themselves in a world that sometimes fear them, sometimes hate them, and sometimes revere them, but it is never ambivalent about them. Character creation is a fairly straightforward process of deciding the concept of the character, their past, their present, and their name. But yeah, there's a lot more to it than that, because each vagabond is haunted by memories of a past they cannot remember, and depending where those memories come from, as in where they come from, they can add some bonuses or penalties to the dice rolls. More on that later. There are several places that vagabonds could come from. They could be AI, so essentially a bit machine. They could come from the wild, which gives them an affinity with the wildlife. They can come from the Dreadlands, which is a dreadful, infernal kind of place. The Dreamlands, no description needed, and Bright Town, which is similar to ours. They all come with distinct memories that you can obtain and help shape the way that your character sees the world around them and the world actually sees them. Mechanically, the game is also rather simply. The core mechanism is to gather a pool of d4s based on the ability of the character, and if one of the dice, once you roll them, shows a 4, then the task is a success. Memories and abilities will help the roll by providing one extra die or penalizing them by subtracting a die. A role cannot have less than 1 die and cannot have more than 6. Now that has some interesting consequences in-game. For starters, getting to do really epic things is actually achievable, whereas combat can be extremely deadly. This has been designed to aid the storytelling more than the tactic aspect of the game. Like for instance, distances, they are more or less an abstract concept of close, near and far. There's also a system that adds depth to the character by making them detached or broken if their failures or successes are too catastrophic or epic. They can add long-term consequences to the characters to help their development. Now, depending on what sort of situations the characters expose themselves to, they can get memory points and they can be traded for memories. Memories of their past life that they can remember bring either bonuses or penalties, as I was explaining, for the characters. And once enough memories have been obtained, there are revelations that further the abilities of the Vagabonds beyond those of mere mortals. Nibiru also comes with a small, but actually very good bestiary with creatures as bizarre as they're absolutely gorgeous. And even in some cases disturbing, like the mermaid, who takes the body of a human and uses its corpse to feed on and as bait to get more humans to kill. It is the coolest take on a mermaid I have ever seen, and the most disturbing. Lastly, the game comes with an adventure to initiate the players into a world full of shades of grey, where they have to make decisions that really aren't as straightforward as first thought. Also, the book is full of little tale sparks throughout, giving plenty of plot hooks for GMs to start adventuring. It also comes with a small chapter on how to run the game, including, describing the social contract, some safety tools, and even a description of how some scientists were consulted to make the game as believable as possible with the effect of darkness and gravity on the characters. In conclusion, Nibiru is a truly original game that wants to bring a different way to look at character evolution. I must admit, I was a little bit skeptic, I was weary about the amnesia concept thing before I got the book, and I mostly backed it because the setting itself was way more interesting. However, as a world, Nibiru has a lot of potential that this book hints at very heavily, but doesn't delve in enough for my taste. The feeling that everything is a bit too obscure, too unknown, too dangerous, it actually makes me weary to try and explore the base by myself and invent new locations. I don't feel like I understand it enough. It seems that everything is way too interwoven to make sense. And that's not to say that it is impossible to do or it wouldn't be fun. But whereas in more standard fantasy games it's easy to go into the mountains and to explore a cave and just improvise something, doing so here is harder if you want to keep verisimilitude. And the frustrating thing is that the game leaves you wanting more to do it. You really want more. But I need more examples. I need to delve more into get a clearer view of the boundaries that make sense or don't. However, if you stay within the confines of what is described in the book, and there is a lot to it, your biggest challenge will be the memory system. Not because it is hard or complicated, it isn't, but because it is so amazingly unique. It's just nothing I've seen like it. For me, that is a big plus. It is a system that allows me to shape the characters as they come along, that allows me to create a past that can truly and genuinely influence the future of the character and make them grow congruently. So yeah, I'm definitely up for that. That's fantastic and really exciting. If you're looking for crunch and battle-heavy mechanics, Nibiru is not really a game for you. This game is more about finding oneself through adversity. It's finding aspects of the self that we don't necessarily like or want, and other unexpected aspects that will help us overcome our own preconception of ourselves and our characters. I think as the author explores Nibiru and it starts to unravel secrets and publish more material, this game will become more and more attractive and fuller with more adventure. I'm definitely going to recommend this game to anyone who likes indie games focused on story building rather than combat, and want to try a system that truly brings something very, very new at the table, absolutely recommend it. I have loved it. I am so looking forward to seeing a lot more of it, and I think that this will give you a huge, insane amount of ideas that you can implement in plenty of other games. So very, very highly recommended. Thank you very much indeed for watching and being there. It's truly, truly appreciated, whether you have seen the YouTube video or listened to the podcast of this review. In either case, please remember to subscribe and please leave us a comment or a rating if you possibly can, which is much appreciated. But until the next time, please do take good care of yourselves, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.